With your glasses.
Hi.
Wait.
This is not with the contest queen. This is Contester's chat, and I'm so excited to be here with the Sweep Sisters. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is what this hobby is all about. You get to be with your friends and your family and enjoy the excitement and share the joy and maybe even the prizes. So I would like to, they're on my right, maybe your left. I don't know how this works. I have Stephanie Conkle and Angela Phillips. And I met Angela, I believe, at one of the conventions, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I believe Phoenix was the first time we met.
Phoenix. I know we have been going to sweepstakes conventions. That was my second one, and so that would have been 2006. So I have known you now 15 years.
That was my first one.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love. Okay, now the reason I invited these amazing ladies on was Angela told me a story that I had completely forgotten about. And I said, you have to come on the show and tell everybody this story. So I'm going to hand over the gavel or the gauntlet or whatever, to a microphone to Angela. And you can tell everybody the fantastic story you told me.
Is it the one about Stephanie in the car? Okay. So I was really heavy into sweepstaking around this time, and my sister really wasn't into sweepstaking at that time, but I didn't want to do it alone. I was doing a lot of mail-in entries, and I begged her like all week to sit down and enter sweepstakes with me. Now, mind you, I have been entering sweepstakes for several years now. And
winning.
There was one contest called it was the hostess NASCAR.
The Twinkie hostess, yeah.
Right.
NASCAR.
And it was to win a Mustang. So I had just gone into Hallmark and bought some NASCAR stickers because I knew NASCAR did a lot of sweepstaking, and part of the fun for us, or at least for me, was decorating the envelope. So I gave Stephanie a bunch of stickers to decorate her envelope. We entered.
Wait, let me just tell you.
You tell her.
Well, I just want to interject. You can keep going, but I just want to say that at this point, I'm 8 months pregnant, and I'm laying on the couch, and I'm not feeling like doing anything. And it's probably like 11 o'clock at night, and Angela's sitting in the kitchen, sweepstaking, and she's like, please come, I'm bored or I'm lonely. Come do this with me. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I had done it with her before, and we had both won, small prizes, like Publix gift cards and stuff like that, so it's like, okay. But, I also felt like it was like a lot of work because we were doing a lot of the handwritten entries. All right, go ahead. I just wanted to say I was 8 months pregnant and I didn't want to do this.
She never told me the part about you being pregnant and going, So that makes its story even better.
I did not want to do this at all, but I was like, oh, I will be a nice sister and I'll keep her company, but I really don't want to. I just, was kind of wanting to go to bed at that point.
Right. So,
okay, now Angela, take over.
So, of course, we mailed it in. And, for many years, I have been trying to win a car. And lo and behold, Stephanie gets a phone call that her and her husband won a trip to Miami to go to this NASCAR race.
No, it was the UPS guy or the FedEx guy came with the affidavit.
Oh, that's right.
The FedEx guy came to the door and rang the doorbell, and you nearly had a heart attack because he was holding the affidavit in his hand.
Because you always watch for the FedEx truck.
Yeah, right. We were always watching for the FedEx. And I was like, okay. Angela was having a panic attack, and I was like, oh, okay, so they want me to, So I was one of 6 contestants that they were wanted to bring to Miami to watch the NASCAR race, and then you would have a chance to win a Mustang. So I had like a 1 in 6 chance at this time to win a Mustang, plus a trip to Miami Beach and in a nice hotel on the beach. You want me to take over now, or do you want to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Yeah, tell her about your show.
All right. So now Angela is probably not into this as much as I am, but the law of attraction was kind of like real big. Like The Secret was like real big at the time. It was 2007. In fact, it was November 2007. And my son was born in January 2008. And the car I was to win was a Mustang, 2008 Mustang GT. And so I knew what car they were talking about, and I had kind of always wanted a Mustang anyway, secretly, but it was a sports car, and I'm a pregnant lady. I also want to say that I had just quit my job. I just, was 8 months pregnant, and I had another baby that I was already taking care of, a 2-year-old, and a mortgage. Okay, let's just start there. So, it like completely broke. And anyway, I always wanted the Mustang GT. So I was really getting into law of attraction books and Napoleon Hill and The Secret and all of that. And so I found a Mustang online and I cut it out and I put it on my mirror so that I could look at it every day. When I got into my crappy little van, I just pretended like I was driving like this really cool sports car, and I was like feeling really cool in it. Like every time I was driving, I was getting into the feeling of driving the Mustang, right? So when my husband and I were on the plane to Miami, I told him, I said, hey, we're just going to Miami to pick up my car. That's it. We're just going to go get my car, which you don't actually drive it back. They actually send you to your dealership in your hometown and you get it from there. I wasn't sure. I'm like, we're just going to go, and I guess we're going to get this Mustang, and I don't know if we're going to drive it back or what's going to happen. But we're just going there. I don't really care about the NASCAR race, and I don't really care about even being on the beach. We're just going to win. So I just kept claiming that it was mine, that it was mine, that it was mine. So
wait, were you in competition with some other people going to this event?
There were 6 of us that were chosen.
Oh,
to go to this event, because then there was going to be a key draw for the car.
Oh, key turn. Okay.
A key turn. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was like 1 in 6, so I had a really good chance of winning. And just, so then I remember we were on our way to the dealership to do the key turn, and we're in the van, and the marketing lady was like, who's going to win the car? And nobody would say anything. It was almost like they felt like they were jinxed or something they would jinx it if they said anything. And I said, oh, it's mine. I'm taking it home. So I'm claiming it. And everybody kind of laughed. Okay.
That's why Helene calls it the name it and claim it game.
That's right. Name it and claim it. Right. You have to. I was just like, this is my car. It's mine. I mean, I know I have to go through all this like hoops, but I'm going to get it. It's mine, So now we get to the dealership, and now at one of the sweepstaking clubs that my sister attended, my dad went with her to one of the meetings that I didn't attend, and my dad lives with me. And at this meeting, somebody said, if you ever have a chance to do a key turn, when you feel the keys, it's the one that feels different is the winning vehicle. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I remembered that. So Dad came back and said that. And I remembered that. He had totally forgotten. Angela had forgotten. But for some reason,
that advice
stuck in my mind. Well, it's true. Use it. Definitely. So, but I have to tell you how this unfolded, though. So, I'm also praying, having everyone pray. And I get chosen first to pick out the hat. So they put like 1 through 6 in a hat of who would pick the keys first. Okay,
so first numbers, then keys.
First the numbers, okay. Just to see who gets to draw first. And I didn't even know what we were doing. My favorite number is 8 because it's like the infinity sign upside down. So I'm going 8, 8, 8. I want 8. There wasn't even an 8. It was 1 through 6. I didn't really understand what was happening right now. I'm going 8. But I drew the number 1. Okay.
Oh.
So I was the first one and it's just like a shallow hat with 6 keys. So I said out loud, okay, which one feels lucky? I got to touch them all. Which one feels lucky? And then I felt the one that didn't feel like it had any ridges. It was very smooth. And I was just like, I don't know if this feels lucky, but this is the one that definitely feels different. So I'm taking it. So I took it. Everyone else went down the line and drew. Now it's time to test the keys out. Okay. So my husband and I get in the car. And like I said, I'm like, 7.5, 8 months pregnant, and my belly's sticking out to here. And I turn the ignition, and nothing happened. Like, it does not turn over. And I was just like, felt so deflated. I'm like, man, I was sure I had one, So I get out. The second person goes. They try their key. Doesn't work. The third person, the fourth person, the fifth person, the sixth people, it was like a mother and her son. They started jumping up and down, like screaming and hugging each other. Because they thought that they had won. And she said, do we even have to try out the key? And they said, yes, you still have to do the key because that was a part of the rules. And they wanted to get pictures and all of that, like for promotional reasons. So they get in the car and they try and just the car does not start.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, people, this is not an automatic. This is a manual. That means you have to push the clutch in when you turn the key. So we're going to start all over. So the second I got back in the car, I pushed the clutch and then just turned over and it just purred like a baby.
That poor family. They thought they had won the car.
I felt so bad. And then we had to go and watch the NASCAR race and sit next to them. And I just felt like I felt so bad for them. But not really, because I was also happy for myself.
I know, but
yeah.
You could imagine when nobody's key turns over and then you think, well, I have to have the key.
Right. And what's interesting is that you start rooting for the people who you kind of want to win if it's not going to be you. And there was a guy who was all into NASCAR. I mean, like, that was his passion. That was his life. He was just decked out in NASCAR stuff and cars. And you just, I was like, that guy needs this car. Like, I'm like the pregnant woman from the suburbs, This guy like really needs this car. So I was rooting for him. And then when he didn't get it, I kind of felt disappointed that he didn't get it.
So yeah, I can't believe, I'm very surprised they didn't tell everyone in advance that it was a manual car.
I know, but it makes for a good story that happens.
Yeah, it makes a great story. So I had got called to a key turn once, and I called somebody that had won several cars in a key turn, and he gave me that same advice. Or if you can't touch them, look for the one that looks different or scratched.
Yeah.
Same thing. Get there early. See if you can talk to anybody. All these things. No, when I got there, they had put every key in a box on a table, and you just had to go and pick a box. And I'm like, no.
You can even
they
feel
put
for
them
the
all in
key.
a box, and I'm like,
and
they would draw a number. They had like, I don't know, it was out of 100 people, and then only like 60 showed up. And then they kept drawing names. And some people didn't even get their name called because it was partway through. Some kid, some young person who desperately needed it found the key. So then everyone left because there was nobody. But yeah, that must have been amazing when it turned over.
Yeah, it was. And my husband was in the passenger seat next to me, and he was going like crazy, like, crazier than me. And I was just like in shock, but I think Angela told me, or somebody said, you might be in shock, but for the promotional pictures, you have to like scream and smile and act like you're so excited. So I started doing that, but I was just like, what is happening? That's like what I'm thinking in my head, like, what is happening here? But I'm, I'm smiling and but my husband is like really having a, spastic attack next to me. I'm like, calm down, honey.
That is amazing. So where's the car? Okay, you sent me a picture. I want to show everybody this car that you wanted. We can talk about the so let's see. This is new to me.
Yeah.
Adding things. So let's see. It's gonna cover us all, but what a car.
So beautiful. My baby.
Oh my gosh.
But I will say that.
Tell her about.
I didn't drive it very long. I kept it in my garage, and I ended up selling it and getting like not the exact cash value because cars depreciated, but I got cash for it, and I really needed that money just to kind of like survive through that year. So I really kind of felt like it was a blessing, and that was sort of like the reason why I won that car, just to sort of help me out financially. Now it's like part of me is like, oh, I wish I had never sold that car.
But think about it. You just said you're pregnant with a little one. That is not the car you do groceries.
No. And I ended up getting a nicer, safer van, but than what I had before. What, Ange?
Hey, Stephanie, tell her about how that wasn't the car that you had turned, and actually this was a better car. Like when you went to
yeah, because I was in Florida and I did that car. I don't remember how it was better though, but I know it because that was the dealership in my town, and the car that I had turned, it was a red car. And they didn't have, and I wanted a red car. They didn't have red cars on their lot, but that white car with the chrome wheels was just beautiful. So how is it a better car?
Yeah, it had a lot of upgrades it had a lot of upgrades in the car that the original car didn't have.
Oh yeah.
And it was the newer year. It was the the newer year.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it was 2000, must have been a 2009 then, because.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten all about that. Completely.
Now that's a good tip to tell people right here, is that the rules are written in such a way that the sponsors can substitute the prize. And if they substitute it, they usually go up. It's rare that they've gone down.
Yeah.
But they usually go up.
Yeah, definitely. So that was cool. That was my first and really only big win. But I haven't been really sweepstaking a lot in the past years. But I would like to get back into it. But Angela, tell them about.
It was truly a blessing for her because her son had special needs. She really needed to stay home that year and not work. So that money allowed her to stay home and take care of him.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now we know that Stephanie got dragged into the hobby.
Dragged.
And then she went and won a car. Stephanie, you won a car before Angela, right?
Right.
Have you won a car, Angela?
Is it?
No.
So 2 thorns with the rose in the middle. That's what it is, right?
But if it hadn't been for Angela's all of her work that she had put into it, I mean, I would have never won it because she got me into it. But she had the stickers and she told me exactly what to do and how to mail it and all that, all that stuff that I would have never even taken the time to.
I know. What would you think
it was worth it? I felt like it was worth it because I had sweepstaked all these years and I had won, some nice things, but nothing like a car. You had like the cash, car, cruise, and computer, and I had won the cash. And I had won like a little computer thing, but I had not won a car, and I still have not won a car.
No, me neither.
I haven't won a cruise yet either.
But you got a lot of cruises.
I've only done cash and cruise is kind of trip. I haven't actually won a cruise, but I've won trips. But it's really fun. So when did you let's go back. When did you what gave you the sweepstakes bug, Angela?
It was really funny. I was living with a roommate, and I come home one day, and there's this thing on our coffee table. It was a sweep sheet. It was the Sweep Sheet magazine. And then I was like, what is this? I'm like reading through it, and I'm asking her, like, what is this? And she's like, oh, you can enter sweepstakes. I'm like, oh, those are fake, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I used to think so, but my coworker, he showed me all of these letters, and they were like, it was like Coca-Cola and Home Depot and all these big name brands where he had won prizes. And I was like, and then I was like, really? So that she told him that story. So he made me copies of all the letters. And so when she brought me the letters, later that week, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And I was so broke because we were right out of college. Or a little bit out of college. And I wanted this is how long ago it was. I wanted a DVD player. Because DVD players back then were really expensive. And I really wanted to win a DVD player.
I remember winning one and it was $1,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's why I started entering, is because I really wanted a DVD player. And when I first started, I didn't even really know what I was doing. And I was just looking at products in my house and products at the store. I didn't even realize like Sweepsheet was a subscription service. And then I started reading more about it. I would go online and then finally I kind of realized it was a subscription service and what to do and learn the rules. And then I bought your book. I bought several other books. I just started learning about it. Plus, I told my other good friends about it, and they really got into it. So then that was something fun we could do together. And then we found the Atlanta Peach Sweepers Club, and that's what really opened the doors for all of us, because then we made all these awesome friendships. And like Stephanie, she met a lady who they started like a mommy's group together for their little ones. Their kids were on the same soccer team. I met another really good, like, lifelong friend in the group. And even today, like, even though I'm not in Atlanta anymore, I'm still in the state of Georgia. So I have people who have maybe moved away and they come across an Atlanta sweepstakes, and they'll still send me sweepstakes to enter, if they come across them. Yes. And that club was just really essential because, like, not only did we build the friendships and we learn from each other, I found that sweepers were so generous. And they would like share all their information, and we would share the little contest forms. Like if somebody went to Publix and, picked up a few forms, they would share them with the club. Also, the club was really fun because we had a lot of contests. So people would bring in the prizes they didn't want and donate them to the club. And then we would have like raffles and contests to win the prizes. So that was fun. Sometimes they were like sweepstakes and sometimes they were like raffles. They would have lottery tickets, prizes that people donated to the club, that sort of thing. So it was exciting.
Yeah, that was fun.
And there were so many winners, and there were so many winners in the club, and it just really gave you hope. And it was
inspiring.
It was a pretty large group. It was
how many people were in your club?
All walks of life. I mean, not every I would say probably total there was like maybe 80, but on a typical day we would have like 15 to 20.
Wow.
So there would be people from literally all walks of life. And so you made friends with all these people that I would have never had an opportunity to meet if it wasn't for this club. So I just feel like the club was really essential.
Our club has like 6 people.
Getting into the hobby and why I enjoyed the hobby. Also, I want to say that shortly after I lived with that roommate who sort of got me into it, I moved away to Birmingham. I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Birmingham, Alabama. And I was really lonely in my first year. I didn't really know a lot of people. So I ended up, this was before Facebook and maybe MySpace was just starting. I don't know. But the forums, the sweepstakes forums, like Sweepsheet, OLS, all of those forums, I really connected with people online and we had secret pals and pen pals, and like we would send each other sweepstaking supplies, which was great because I was just getting into the hobby and I didn't have all the supplies, and some things were hard to get. So I was getting, postcards from all over the country and just really cool envelopes and just all kinds of stuff. So that was
Amazon was just a bookstore back then.
Yeah, Amazon was just a bookstore. So for me, I mean, most of the hobby for me is just the socialization of it. I mean, I love to win. Who doesn't love to win? But I really enjoy the people. And I just
it is because look, Bill posted. I wish there was a sweepstakes club here in Northwest Florida. So he comes to our virtual meeting that we have because of COVID. Actually, it worked out because I have a very small club here where I live, but we'd meet, every once a month at a coffee shop. But there was only a few of us. And then, of course, when the pandemic started, nobody was meeting in person. And I thought, well, I already pay for Zoom for work. Why don't I use it to host meetings? And now we have people from all across the country, and we all hang out online. I mean, it's not the same. Like you said, with 80 people, I can't even imagine those meetings must be so much fun.
We never had all 80 people show up at the same time, but we would have people drive in from different states to come to our meeting. Sometimes we would typically have 15 to 20 people at a meeting, but still, over the years, you would meet everybody. Or I would say the Christmas party. We would always do a Christmas party with like a dirty Santa or a swap, a secret Santa type thing. So that's when everybody really showed up, was for those parties. But I don't know. I just loved it. I like sweepstaking because you can do it by yourself. If you want to be an introvert and you want to just have some alone time, it's something you can do by yourself, or you can be very social. There's so many different ways to be social in the hobby. So you can kind of customize it to your life. Like,
and I'm the introvert and she's the extrovert.
Right.
We never would have guessed. We never would have guessed.
There's been so many years where I have not had time to enter sweepstakes, but I still know in the back of my mind, like if I go by a drop box, I'm going to enter it. I still enter here and there, even if I'm not, before I used to treat the hobby like a part-time job. Now I don't have time to do that. I have a very full, busy life, but there's sometimes, like during COVID, I got back into it because I was like, okay, we're not going out anymore. I have time to sweep. And it was just a way for me to get back into something. So
that's a nice thing about the hobby, is that it can come and go based on your lifestyle. And there's always sweepstakes. Like I'm putting in the new book quotes from another book. And that author did research about sweepstakes back to the 1900s. So more than 120 years ago. Like, this hobby is not going away. It's lasted through 2 pandemics. It's not going away. A couple of world wars, a couple of pandemics. Like, everybody likes sweepstakes. The hobby may slow down because we had a bunch of stuff disappear. Like, we all saw the big dip in the hobby last year. But it didn't go away, and it's not going to go away. And now it's ramping back up, and we're all seeing it.
Yeah.
And and you can always just, if you need a break, like you were busy with 2 little ones, you might not be entering as much. Guess what? When you're ready, jump back in the pool with both feet.
I forgot to tell you, when I went to pick up my car at the dealership, there was a drop box to win gas. Like a gas card, and I got my name in, and of course I was like on this winning streak somehow. I won the gas card.
I forgot about that.
Remember? And there was something else I won
that part.
Yeah, I was just like winning. It's kind of like when you're on a streak, you're on a streak. I was just winning back to back and back to back, and then it's kind of like when I don't win, I'm just it's like feast or famine for me, So. What was the other thing I won, Angela? There's something else that I won during that same time related to that car.
That's funny.
I don't remember either.
Oh, yeah. Bill says this. He says, wins come in 3s.
Yes, I won 3. Yeah. I won 3 things in a row. Gosh, I wish I could remember what that other thing was. It was something little, but, it was still a win.
Well, you could count the trip to Miami and then the car and then the gas.
Yeah, but no, it was something else other than that.
More.
Yeah, there was something more, and I'm trying.
Okay, just win everything. That's okay.
Yeah, I know. And the NASCAR thing was, I didn't really like the race itself because it was loud and I didn't have headphones and I was pregnant and about to pop. But I've never been to a NASCAR thing. But outside of the NASCAR stadium, it's like a big fair. They had live music of popular bands. They had, booths wwhere they were selling different things. It was just like you were on a fairground. And I was like, okay. I didn't know this. So, so it's like, okay, I can, if I have to go to NASCAR again.
Well, Tonka Valley's really good at NASCAR wins.
At least that part's fun.
He seems to find the sweepstakes at the events and then wins again.
Did I win something? Maybe I won something there at the NASCAR thing.
Okay, so someone has a question for us. This is actually a good question. Now it might cut off some of our heads because it's going to be big. Oh no, it shrunk it. Okay. So she's fairly new. Nina's fairly new to sweepstakes, and for sweepstakes it asks referrals to get more entries. Has anybody won sweepstakes where they don't add a referral? Well, I'll start by saying I always refer somebody, but I don't know how many people enter. And sometimes, I think because of what I do, they don't enter. And I won't share on my Contest Queen page a referral sweepstakes. If you find a referral sweepstakes in my Contest Queen page, I'm usually doing it for a client, so I won't be entering. And then if you see it on my personal page, you can enter. But there's a lot of sweepstakes that don't ask for referrals, and I know people who've entered those referral sweepstakes and probably had nobody enter under them and won. What about you two?
Well, the good thing about that Peach Sweepers Club is that we all referred each other. So we weren't clogging up or annoying our friends because we were all doing it with each other. So I would say get a few sweepstaking buddies and just use the...
So it's a referral circle. Like you refer me, and then I refer Stephanie, and then she refer, and it just goes around. Yeah.
The other cool thing about that club too was that we would all listen to the radio during the day, and if they called somebody's name and you had to call in, we would get on the phone and call each other and say, hey, I just heard your name, call, you've got 5 minutes to call in or whatever. Right. And somebody did that to me. I actually did not get answer the phone. I did not get the message until it was too late, but I think it was like $1,000 gas card that I would have won if I had called in.
Oh no.
So they'd send it to the next person. I know. That's my one regret. Why didn't I answer the phone?
I have one of my sweeping friends and we just text all day. Okay, I've got this station. You've got that station. There's 4 stations to listen to at 4:00. Okay, I got these 2.
Now we can
those
text.
2. And we're doing this. And then sometimes I'll miss it or I'll get the stations mixed up. And I'm like, oh no, I was listening to the wrong one. It's a horrible feeling.
This was the time when cell phones weren't like, I had a cell phone, but I didn't use it the way we used it now with the text. I think texting cost money back then. And so people would just call, and I would always think it was a telemarketer calling me or something. So, I'd never answer the phone, but it's like, I should have answered the phone that day.
Oh no. Okay, hang on. So I would just say enter and don't worry about the referrals. Just focus on the energy of winning. Here, Susan has a good question. Did any of you ladies win a trip and other contesters win there too? I did a couple times. One was to Universal Florida and the other was to the Caribbean. Okay, I've never won. Okay, so I won a trip to the Olympics in Vancouver. There was a lot of prize winners, but I didn't know. I didn't know any of them. But now I'm remembering. On a trip to the pre-Olympic announcement in 2006, I ended up meeting a fellow sweeper there because our big One Bell Canada was giving away a trip a day. And she won on one day and I won on another day. So I knew one person, even though they had given away like 30 trips or whatever.
There were about maybe three of the 6, maybe 4 of the 6 were other contesters, or sweepers. And I only know that because they were talking to each other in the elevator and I was listening and I didn't want them to catch on that I was also a sweeper. And so I just let them think that I just opened a Twinkie package and won this thing. They never knew that I was one too, but I knew who they were, but they didn't know who I was.
That is so funny.
So funny.
I didn't introduce myself. Again, I'm the introvert. I just kind of stood over and watched and listened and was quiet and like, I'm just going to quietly get my car and go home.
Well, I heard, Debbie at one of the conventions gave me this advice and she said, she wins a lot. And she said to me, whenever the sponsors asked her about winning, her answer, because she didn't want to lie, would be, I've never won anything like this before. This is amazing.
I love that.
Because no 2 prizes are alike. So she's not lying.
Exactly like that before.
I've never won anything like this before. And that would that would be the truth. But
sure.
A little bit sugary.
Yeah. Because you kind of don't want to let on that you're, especially to the marketing people there who are, because that one lady, like, she shuffled us around everywhere and she was so excited for us. We were just kind of acting like, oh, we were so lucky, which we are lucky, but,
My most exciting one was a shopping spree that I won. I won a.
Oh yeah, we got shopping spree pictures. Okay, so I'm going to show some pictures. Well, now it's gonna. I don't know if they'll cover your face or not, but we'll see. Okay, well, so you won this shopping spree. This is a big picture. It might cover your face. Check her out. Oh my God! Now you said to me, because I said, how long did you have to run around the store? 88 seconds. What is 88 seconds? Oh, that's insane. Okay, what happens if you grab the wrong size? Would they change it?
Okay. The rules were you only had 88 seconds. You had to hold everything in your hands. You could not use a bag, a cart, anything. Just whatever you could grab and hold and take to the register in 88 seconds is what you had. Now, they would allow you to swap sizes. So I knew this going into it. The night
they would or wouldn't allow you to swap sizes? No swapping sizes?
They said
they would, yes. They would let her to swap sizes.
Yes. They would let me swap sizes. So my plan was I went to another Rack Room shoe stores on the other side of town the night before, and I practiced. I know those people thought I was crazy, but I figured out that if I grabbed a big boot box, and I don't really wear boots, but I figured if I grabbed a big boot box, I could stack it. And then I have a couple of friends that are really into sweepstaking, and they gave me the idea, like, go get the expensive tennis shoes. And at that time, like, New Balance were, like, the popular shoes everybody was wearing. So my plan was I would go over to New Balance, and I would get I would get enough shoes, because I had just switched careers. I had left one career, and then I work at a law firm, and I had just started at this law firm. And I actually told my boss that I had an appointment, making him think I had a doctor's appointment, right? So I said, like, I have an appointment, I'll be in late tomorrow, because I was brand new at this job. I didn't want to, share my weird hobby with everybody. So we go, and the night before I had figured out, my little plan of attack. I was going to get the shoes. So we get the strategy. Thank you. So then we get there, and the district manager's there, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a news crew coming, and they're gonna televise this." And I was like, oh, "I just started a new job. I can't be on TV." So he said, "That's okay." We're doing another contest in another store. So he just called them and told them to go to the other store to televise it, because I was so scared I was going to lose my job. So then, but it was exciting because they allowed all my friends and family to come, and it was before the store opened. So they closed. Yeah,
we were cheering her on.
The family were there. They had these little, they had shakers. They had all kinds of stuff for them to cheer me on. And then, so I'm in the middle of the sweepstakes, and I do all the shoes. And I get enough for my whole family, because that was going to be their Christmas gift for me that year, because I was broke at the time. So I was like, okay, this is going to be everybody's Christmas gift. So I get there, I get all the shoes that I wanted, and I get there in 88 seconds to the register. And when the district manager heard me, like, the different sizes, because I was like, oh, I got this, it's Christmas presents for all my family right here. And he was like, you didn't get shoes for you? And I was like, oh, I got one pair for me. He was like, you have another 88 seconds to go get whatever you want just for you. So he gave me another 88 seconds.
Oh my God.
I went around the store. I got whatever I could get for me. And then my little niece, her daughter.
My daughter, who was like 2 or 3 at the time.
She fell in love with these Dora Light-Up shoes. So he let her have the Dora Light-Up shoes. Oh. And then as they're ringing them up, he knew about the taxes. Like, I think anything over $600 at the time you had to pay taxes on. And he knew that. And he told him, ring them up, buy one, get one free, so we can get her under that $600 mark, so she doesn't have to pay taxes. I mean, they were so great.
That is amazing.
Every single person, he was amazing. And then every employee in that store was so excited and so helpful, and just treated my friends and family just wonderfully. It was, even though it wasn't my biggest one, it was the most exciting, Glenn.
Yeah, and now we're loyal to Rack Room shoes, so.
Yeah, and you know what I like about it? It's great publicity. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I want to say about this hobby for everybody that's listening. This is what sweepstakes is about. That was not your biggest win, but you had the adventure of a lifetime. You will always remember it. It was super fun. That's what sweepstakes is.
And that was a Dropbox win. And I had just learned that, like, when you entered like a Dropbox thing, kind of folded a little differently. So there's more edges for them to grab, or it feels different than the other ones. And I had, like I said, I had just started at a law firm, but they were having like a 10-year anniversary party at like the local country club or something. So I was like, oh, I have to go buy a pair of shoes for this formal event. So, and I saw the Dropbox. I did not even know what I was entering. I just entered it because it was a sweepstakes and it was sitting right there while they were ringing me up for these other shoes. So when the lady had called to say that I won, I really had no idea what she was talking about. She's like, you won the 88-second shopping spree. I'm like, oh, fantastic. I had no idea. So I'm looking through all like my sweep sheet. At the time I was doing a lot of sweep sheet, but I had a few other ones I was subscribed to. So I'm looking through everything, trying to figure out what I won. And then it dawned on me that I had entered that Dropbox. And then when we went there was actually a Dropbox there. So all my friends started entering it. So,
I love that it was really 88 seconds too. That's like such a good number.
Oh. And let me tell you, so I go back to work and I'm telling some of the girls at work and they're like, you can tell our boss, he's not going to care. So then I go and I confess, like, I'm so sorry that I led you to believe I had a doctor's appointment. I really had won the shopping spree. He's like, Angela, I would have let you go. You should have just told me. It was fine. They could have had the new screws.
That is so funny.
But the news crew may have made you more nervous, though, if they had the news out there.
Oh, that's true.
So it was probably better if they didn't.
Much more shy than I am now.
Yeah. Well, on camera.
He grew into an extrovert.
On camera. I've always been an extrovert, but on camera. I was always shy on camera.
I do better on camera. She does better in person. It was weird. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So now that we know how you got into it and you had the shop, I love the shopping spree story. That is the best. Oh, and I do want to interject though. The folding, the funniest thing I heard about the folding. So you say, okay, everyone's like, okay, fold it so it feels a little different. So the very first sweepstakes convention I went to had 600 attendees, and they have this drum, and all the ballots were paper. 600 people crumpled their ballots. So now there's 600 ballots in this drum, and they're turning it, and because everything's folded, not one moves. Like, it's just a big...
Oh, wow.
So they're having to reach in and, like, swirl to try and get different... And then in future conventions, they would do either coins with your number on them, like a poker chip, or they would do laminated cards. So there was no folding. So then they could actually turn it. And I'll never forget this drum. They're turning this drum, and not a single ballot is moving because everybody crinkles.
That's hilarious.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't always work. And I don't know if we can do comment section anymore.
Hey, everybody. They're all saying hi to us. I just now. There's Susan Taylor. Hi.
Oh, and the 88 seconds. Now, she said she loves the 88 seconds. But what's funny about that is you, Stephanie, had said 8 was your number. And then your sister won the double 8. Oh. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I know it's Angela's favorite number, too. We've always had the same favorite lucky number. Always. We always would fight over who got the lucky number.
You know what's weird? My favorite number is 9.
Is it 9?
7 and 9. I always either pick 7 or 9. You guys are like right in the middle.
It's always been lucky for me.
So, okay, so what is your favorite? Now, the shopping spree was a great story, Stephanie, and Angela, and the car, Stephanie, was amazing. But do you have a favorite win other than those?
Well, that was my favorite win, was the car.
Well, yeah, okay. Nothing's going to top the car.
Right.
Okay, do you have a second favorite? It's like your kids. Yeah. Well, they're all my favorite.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the first win might have been because I never really thought I would win anything because I never felt like a winner, and you know what I mean? Like I do now, but back then I think so that one is special just because I can't even remember. So it's special. I have it like in a scrapbook. Because I did win so many little things over the years that I don't remember what it was. It was something little, but it was just that I had won. And it's such a good feeling when you win, and it's just that it gives you that dopamine rush to your brain or whatever, and just makes you feel good about yourself and like you are a winner and you can do this. So I really appreciate it. My first win, because that motivated me to keep entering as well.
Yeah. Contest crack, I call it. One win and you're hooked.
Yeah.
Angela?
Okay, this is going to date me too, but my favorite win is I won an iPod. I was just dying to have an MP3 player or an iPod. Good. And I won an iPod. So that was really special because I had tried, like the DVD player, I had tried a long time to win the iPod and I ended up winning it.
Okay, so we have some questions here for you guys. So Nina wants to know, do you guys enter, like, do you win more on social media or email or mail in? Like what, Angela, why don't you go first? Because you seem to be, because Stephanie, you've kind of quieted down a bit.
Yeah, I've won on all of those mediums, but I think the mail in is where I just still feel like I have better odds of winning that one.
I've won a lot on Facebook and YouTube. Back in the day it was more mail-ins, but lately I would say Facebook and YouTube. And I enter a lot of local contests. Now I have everything I need really in life. So now I just concentrate either on the bigger ones like cash or trips. But then like I do a lot of local ones and, like my husband and I will have like little date nights like you and your husband do, when we win, like I've won concert tickets. I won, like a really nice restaurant in town, like a free meal there or just different things like that. So, but I've won I've won on radio, Dropbox. I mean, the whole thing is just enter. You never know. Yeah. I mean, even at work.
Diversify.
At work all the time. Just if you see it, enter it. Like you can't.
Yeah, if you see it, enter it.
If you don't enter. So just if you see it,
that's a good adage. So Brenda wanted to know, do you guys have any secrets to mail-ins? I don't really do mail-ins anymore because there aren't any where I live. They're only AMOEs, which is alternative method of entry. So if you have to buy something and then you have a chance to win, if you don't want to pay for it or use a receipt, you can write an essay. So those are the ones I do, and I don't do very many of them because to me, I could buy the bottle of pop for $1 on sale, or I could spend more than $1 in postage. So I'm just buying
it all depends on what the price is.
Chocolate bars and the soda. So do you have any tips?
It used to be cheaper to enter a sweepstakes. It used to be cheaper to enter a sweepstakes, and now it's like you might as well just buy a lottery ticket because stamps have gone so high. But I would say, like when she won the NASCAR, we used the NASCAR sticker, so we try to stay with the brand. We try to decorate our envelopes if you're allowed to decorate. A lot of times they just want a white number 10. Envelope.
Yeah, you got to read the rules because if you start stickering up envelopes and the rules say plain envelope and you sticker it up, you've probably disqualified yourself.
Yeah. And for me to sit down and handwrite, so, like I have to really want that thing, and it's going to be worth it, for me to do it, because it can become like work. It can be, and that's sort of why I've been out of it for a while, just because I have my own business and I've got 3 kids and an elderly father who lives with me. So I've just been really busy, but this is motivating me and inspiring me. And I'm going to get back into it again now since we're doing this. It's reminding
you have to post on social media when you win something big. Absolutely. I'm going to say, okay, remember Stephanie, she wrote me back and said, we got her into it again. And look what she won.
Sure. I think the most important thing about mail-ins is consistency. And if you, just consistently enter, and you're just filling that pipeline, and eventually you're going to win something. That's the thing.
Just make sure you follow the rules to a T so you don't get disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So, well, just when I kind of want to just talk really quick about the stickers and the law.
We got lots of time.
Okay. So Angela had a million stickers, not just the NASCAR. She had sticker for every time she, went into a store, she bought stickers. Every time she felt, and she's a deal hunter, so she'll find the deals, but like she's not going to buy them like regular price. She'll find like wholesale, cheap, whatever.
Those NASCAR stickers was from a Hallmark going out of business. And so I probably paid 10 cents for those stickers.
Yeah.
It's a good 10-cent investment for a car.
So she had stickers. So it's like, okay, we'll use the NASCAR stickers for that. But with the whole law of attraction thing, I know that you have to all right, I don't know who believes in this. I'm a little bit woo-woo.
Hello.
Okay.
You're a lot woo-woo.
I'm a lot woo-woo. But I think that part of winning is just letting go of the outcome and having fun with it while you're doing it. So I was just having fun putting the stickers on and just talking to Angela, and we were just enjoying spending time together, and I just let go of the outcome, whether I win it or not. I'm having fun with this. And I think when you really step into that energy of having fun and letting go of the outcome, then everything starts coming to you. But if you're like, oh, I really want to win this. Oh, I hope I win this. Okay. I think that's...
Look what you just did with your hands. You just said, I really want to win this. Now, what happens when you're trying to hold on to something and you're doing this?
Right.
You can't hold it. You have to...
That's right. Yeah. Or you break it or something. But yeah, like that tension, you don't want to have that. You want to have this like real relaxed, laid back. What are you showing us, Andrew?
Show and tell.
Your stamps or stickers?
Okay. So what if... Yes, I don't have my sticker book anymore, but I love the stamps. I love going to the post
office.
Yeah.
So if you do mail-in, you put it on a fancy stamp?
Yeah, but they're the same price as, just the regular stamp.
I know, but if you're doing a sweepstakes entry, you'll put a fancy stamp to match the thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the postage version of the stickers. Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah, because there's no rules about stamps.
And
what kind of stamps you can put on.
It's buy the forever stamps, because I have a lot of stamps in here from when I first started, and they weren't forever stamps. Then you're having to use more than one. But
Ashley says your organization is awesome.
Like I said, we had good friends that did sweepstaking. Amy Scoville and Scarlett Hayes, they were two of our good friends who did this a lot, and they were very organized, and I learned a lot of my tips from them. They were big winners. They won a trip to the Super Bowl, to Disney. I mean, they were winning all the time.
And Angela got them into it.
Prizes.
They were, yeah.
Well, I've gotten people into the hobby, and they've won more than me. But you know what?
They were very consistent. They were consistent in entering. Yeah. And I think that's the key, is to be consistent, because I go through phases, my peaks and valleys. I'll enter, and then I won't enter. And I'll enter, and then I won't enter. So, my win rate's not going to be as high as somebody who's consistently entering.
That's right. And also it depends on what you're entering. Because right now, I'm so busy. I'm doing PIN codes because I go walking in the morning. And I do radio all day because I can listen to the radio while I work. Look at that. I won that radio that's behind me. That was like one of my first prizes, and I still use it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Well, it works. I don't think the CD player works anymore, or the tape player's broken or something. But it has the radio stations, and I use it to enter, and I'm flipping. I've got them all preset, and I'll just change the station. Okay, I heard this one. Does this one go? But so you can still have prizes. But my winning right now isn't as consistent as when I'm spending an hour or two a day, and it shows. Tom Cavalli just did another unboxing, but he's not as busy as I am, and he's spending his hour or two a day, and it shows with his prizes. It's consistency is key. It's just like anything. If you're going to diet or exercise, You can't go 3 days to the gym and go, okay, wow, that was great. How come I'm not like Iron Man or Hulk?
But at the same time, for me, I can't do it as a part-time job. I know a lot of people have time to do that. So I would just like to enjoy it. Like I like going to buy stamps. I like buying envelopes, like the mail and stuff. I like going online, and especially like the Facebook or Instagram, YouTube. I enter a lot of those because, like my other hobby is a lot more expensive. I love luxury items like scarves and purses and stuff. So now I'm just trying to win those kind of things. So I'll go on those, Instagram, YouTube channels, that sort of thing. So I'm more focused now on my win, and then, but to me, it's enjoyable. I like the community. I like entering, but I do it now more for enjoyment rather than like, oh, I have to enter 1,000, entries to this one contest to win this one prize. I don't do that anymore. But
yeah, that's what I tell people. Pick what you really want to win and focus on that, because otherwise you're just going to be entering everything and then you're not going to want the prize, or it's going to be weird, or something will happen. Like why do you want to win that? I mean, sometimes it happens. I think we were entering to win like a Home Depot gift card or something from a decking company, and we won like a third prize, I think, and we won like deck sealant. And I'm like, we had a patio, no deck, but I didn't enter for the deck sealant. I entered to get the Home Depot gift cards, right?
Right.
And then you're like, okay, now what am I going to do with all this deck?
That happens a lot.
But that it happens even when you're entering properly. That wasn't, I didn't want deck sealant. Obviously, I wouldn't have entered just for deck sealant. But sometimes that happens when you're entering for the bigger prize.
When I was promoting our live stream tonight, I had a business associate of mine reach out to me and was like, "Oh, my uncle does this." And she was like, he used to be really into it, but then his wife made him stop because he kept winning these big prizes and they couldn't afford the taxes on them. So she's like, you can't enter so much anymore, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah. Well, there are ways, you have to be careful, because sometimes I've heard some people, some companies get more cognizant of that, and they will give you the money to cover the taxes. And I've heard stories of people winning the prize and the tax money so that they wouldn't have to, take a cash alternative.
It was kind of complicated for Stephanie when she won the car, like to figure out the taxes.
But I knew to save the taxes though. So I took the portion of the money and I put it into savings for when I had to pay the taxes. So it wasn't that bad. It was more, I don't want to say expensive. Well, it was expensive keeping insurance on that car. So I was actually happy to sell the car and just drop that insurance. So, especially since I wasn't even really driving it. I can't even really drive a stick that well.
I know. I keep entering for all kinds of vehicles, and I think, what if I win a big truck? Because I really want to keep whatever I win, but then I'm like,
yeah, we had to get one of my roommates named Brianna to come drive from the dealership to drive it to her house, because
they would have given me an automatic if I wanted it, but I knew I was going to resell it, and so I thought I'd get a better value for the manual. So but I couldn't really drive it that well. But I didn't want to. Yeah. So I had her best friend drive it, drive it to the dealership and back and stuff like that, because I was afraid I would tear up the transmission. So,
yeah, my car is stick, and it's handy to know how to drive a stick.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
it's like
so
I could do it.
Like, let's see if anybody else has any questions. Any questions that we don't get to? I'm doing my monthly sweepstakes Q&A. I'm skipping the long weekend, so I'm actually doing it on a Tuesday, which is not my normal night. And I will answer the questions we didn't get to. But look, somebody said I won a hockey net, and I gave it to my neighbor, and it turns out the sister-in-law is a sweeper. How funny is that? Oh, Susan said, I won a 2007 pickup truck, and he still drives it. And I've probably driven it 20 times. Yeah, too big.
Michael McIntosh won a bra.
Oh, look, he said, yeah, years ago I won a brassiere. So that's yeah, so it's funny. There's all kinds of things, but like I said, now look how many funny comments we've had. That's just the whole point of this hobby, right? You meet people. Like I've met Angela 15 years ago. We've all said we've made friends for life out of this hobby, right?
Absolutely.
There's something about a sweeper. We're positive, we're fun, we're a little bit crazy.
For sure.
Yeah. I call it the good crazies.
I have a pen pal. I have a sweepstaking pen pal that we have never met, but I would consider him one of my closest friends. And I met him on the forums. We were secret pals for a while. And then we connected on Facebook, and we've just been Facebook pen pals ever since. And we've never met in person, but you know, he's always supported me. I've always supported him. I mean, so it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool community, for sure.
I know. I love the community, and that's one of the things I really encourage people to do is reach out and meet other sweepers, because to me, this was the biggest surprise of the hobby. When I started, I didn't know clubs. I just knew people on a forum, and I entered. And then it was only when I was researching my book did I discover there's conventions. I'm like, there's conventions? And that was it. I was hooked. I was meeting people. And I met you the second convention I went to, Angela, and that was it.
Right. I would say this hobby is just also about having experiences you would never have a chance to have. I mean, yes, my friends could have bought tickets to the Super Bowl, but they wouldn't have been picked up in limousines and got to meet the players behind the scenes and all of that. Like
in the VIP room and all of that.
Yeah, but most people can't afford a trip to the Super Bowl, so it's probably out of your budget. Most people, I say, there's different kinds of prizes. It either replaces stuff that you have to spend money on, like, you know, a gas card. Well, you've got to buy gas, so this just saves you money. Or your fridge is dying, you happen to win some appliances. Perfect. It saves you money. Then there's the prizes that you would never buy, like a trip to the Super Bowl, or I've heard of people winning to the Oscars or to the, I'm hoping those Academy Award prizes and all that red carpet prizes come back.
And even the small ones can be meaningful too. Like my grandmother lived to be 103 years old, and she was getting up there in age. She wasn't quite that old yet, but I had won a radio sweepstakes. It was a Valentine sweepstakes, and I won like a dozen roses. And I was like, well, I wasn't seeing anybody, and I'm not going to just keep them for myself. So I was able to send them to my grandmother, and that just made her day. And what was so funny about it is I don't know, there was some kind of mix or something that the radio station had sent. Oh yeah, I sent it to Mama. So the radio station had sent a dozen roses, but then the flower shop also sent another dozen. So she was surprised to get the first set of roses. Like 4 hours later, she got a second set of roses.
I don't remember that story. That's awesome.
That would have never happened.
I can relate. My grandmother's 101.
I may not have even told you.
Oh, your grandmother's 101?
So that's a blessing.
See, this is the other thing I like about the hobby, is you can do things for people that you just wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah. For sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anyway, we'll wrap this up. This was so much fun.
It was so fun.
I wish I could come to convention, but I'm thinking maybe next year, because I'm so itching to travel, I'll do a road trip, and then I'll do these in person with people. We'll see what I can do in 2022. Yeah?
Can I mention one more thing?
Yes.
The logo that you've had on this video, our dear friend Mike Jackson, he passed away from COVID this year, and he actually...
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, 15 years ago, he created that logo for us because we were thinking about doing a YouTube channel, The Sweeping Sisters. We never got it off the ground, but he created that logo, so it was really special for us that you could use that tonight.
You can still do the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, we might.
Well, you know what? Bill Jensen has a podcast, and then we should get you on Tom. We'll get you to do the rounds.
We'll do the circuit.
We'll do the circuit. It's so fun. Thanks so much. Awesome. I love it.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm going to get to the point where I can do these in person. I'm going to meet people, and we'll sit in the same room, and we won't have these lines between us. And we can give hugs, and I'm looking forward to the day.
Me too.
But yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And I hope you've inspired other people that, it's not just me. There's so many winners out there. And it's this way. Wait, which way is it? I'm looking at Stephanie. How do I do this? Oh, no, it's this way. I'll just rub her shoulder for good luck so that I can get a blocker.
Thank you. I felt that.
Right? Aren't you supposed to rub the other person for good luck?
Oh, wait a second. This way.
This way for me.
Here, I'll do this. I'll rub both of you.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. It's both of you. And all of the people watching, we're rubbing your shoulders too. And thank you for leaving comments.
Many
I'll go back and read all the comments.
If anybody, we can answer questions after, and I will be answering some questions I'll go through them and pull out the ones we didn't answer, and I'll put them in the Sweepstakes Q&A next Tuesday. And also, the Stephanie and Angela can go through and answer some. And also, if you want to stick with the positivity, I have the Good Vibration Sweepstakes Club on Facebook. You don't enter sweepstakes there. It's just for good vibes.
Oh, I love that.
Fairy dust, or you want to post one of your wins without getting the evil eye from anybody, that's where you put it.
Awesome.
Thanks very much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Carolyn. We really enjoyed it.